I can't help myself. I'm just a spiritual being. So as we open up with treatment and our festivities begin this Sunday morning with our honored guest, Dr. Edward, who you'll see later. Thank you, West Georgia. This is what I know that we will do right now, that we, as we center ourselves, I am going to use the reading of the day, January 29th, from Dr. Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, who are two of my heroes. I shall see him reflected in every form, back of every countenance, moving in every act. From Job 33:4, the Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. From a fragment of the Faith Forgotten, thou hast begotten the man of thy self-born mind, and in thy reflection and conception, he is the man begotten of mine, to whom reflection gave form. Thou hast given all things to the man. And lastly, the quote from the Quran, we created man, we know what his soul whispereth to him, and we are closer to him than his neck vein. In his reading, our prayer, our meditation. After long meditation and much deep reflection, having passed through the confusion of the human experience, Job finally arrived at the conclusion that the Spirit of God was within him, and that breath of God was his life. We all have traveled the same pathway of experience, the journey of the soul to the heights above. And always there is a deep inquiry of our minds, what is it all about? Does life make sense? What is the meaning of birth, human experience, and the final transition from this plane, which we call death? Somewhere along the line, we too must exclaim with Job, the Spirit of God had made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. With the Quran, we must realize that the divine is closer to us than even our physical being. Nothing can be nearer to us than that which is the very essence of our own being. Our external search after reality culminates in the greatest of possibilities and discoveries. Reality is at the center of our being. Life is from within and out. We must no longer judge according to appearances, but rather the base of our judgment is on the assumption that God mind dwells within us, proclaim all or reflect itself through us in every act. Thus, the search after reality culminates in the realization of every present good. The search at this point should cease, and we should at once enter into our divine inheritance, no longer searching after, but now the user of the highest gift of heaven. I feel that my search is over. I feel that I have discovered the great reality, and today I shall speak the reality in every experience I shall have, and so it is. And now it is.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you all for coming. This is a great honor for us today. And Dawn is here. I have to say hello to Dawn. So I'd love to have you all join us. Up on the screen, Marcia will be putting our vision and mission statement. So if you all would stand, if you care to stand, and read it with me. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. I believe there is one creative intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe my purpose is to allow this divine mind to express in, as, and through me. I know that this divine presence is a power for good, which responds to my conscious use to create a life filled with health, love, peace, and success in all things. I use it now and I rejoice in it. And so it is.
And please remain standing for our congregational. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles move away. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh yes, I can make it now. The rain is gone, and all of the bad feelings have disappeared. And here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but clear skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone, and I can see all obstacles moving away. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Yes, it's gonna be a bright, oh so bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. So it is. All right. Thank you. You sounded good.
And again, someone who needs no introduction, the famous Reverend Angela Harmon.
Okay, she's speaking that into existence because fame, I don't know. This is my family here, and we've extended our family to our spiritual leader that is going to be our guest speaker this morning, and they asked me to introduce him. And I want to introduce him, if you will, indulge me a little long way. H2O Mondays is a practice that Happy Academy does. That's my ministry that was born of this teaching. And the season of nonviolence begins tomorrow. It is from January 30th to April 4th. And those dates are the dates of the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, which was January 30th of the year he passed. And April 4th was the date of our beloved Atlantean, Dr. Martin Luther King. So during that time, several years ago, it became important to me. I need to find my own peace. And as I look at people in my life, H2O Mondays was adopted because of habit to begin with the end in mind, putting first things first. And that's always God. And then H2O is water. We're predominantly water, and we need water to sustain ourselves. If we just drank water every day, we could live. We need some nutrients, but water is self-sustaining. And then the two Harriets in my life, my DNA Harriet, raised me in Boston a little with my godparents, and then Harriet Tubman. I actually call these earrings that I have on my Harriet Tubman earrings. And she was a part of the quest for me as a female to know that you didn't have to read and write to be somebody. So on my trail of peace, I was going through a very difficult marriage. And the season of nonviolence said, if peace doesn't start with you, where does it start? So I don't have Mother Teresa's recipe for peace with me, but if you go to Happy Academy, myhappyacademy.org website, I task you to read that every day throughout the season of nonviolence and see how nonviolent your life will become, because peace starts with you. So listen to the song, The Man in the Mirror. We've got a man that can look in the mirror that is going to talk to us today. So I say to us women, look in the mirror. And prayer works immediately, eventually, or eternally. So as I introduce our guest speaker, who I met, I will say, in the sands of Mexico. My prayer partner, there's a picture of my prayer partner. I'll show it to you later. I wanted her to be here, but she's grandmomming her grandchildren in Puerto Vallarta, another place in the sand. So as I introduce to you, I want you to take this metaphor of my prayer partner and this center as Edward, our speaker this morning, A Diamond in the Sand, written by me on January the 21st this year. Finding a diamond in the sand, retrieve one easily. Do you think you can? It would be like finding a needle in a haystack. If lost in a trillion grains, could you get it back? It is that attainable, or rather mission impossible. It happened even though feeling very good, Henry lost my diamond in a Cabo neighborhood. In the midst of a massage on a beach that day, he removed a necklace he said was in his way. The session that was truly relaxing in the Mexican sun, that almost turned south after my resting was done. No longer were there two charms on the chain. He saw no diamond, Henry attempts to explain. Instantly I paused and addressed first cause, as my prayer partner responded like a boss. Stop digging, Henry, she says, and he does. As she glimpsed a sparkle inner knowingly what it was. Shining brightly, it was easily spotted. Poised and calm, Ellen says, I got it. Do you think that would have been done without knowing each mind works as one? Oneness confirmed, keepsake in hand, by a diamond I gratefully, happily found in the sand.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Angela. I'm going to, before we have Reverend Edward come up, I want to read to you from his book. I have read this book. He's kind of tattered, and it is spectacular. For me, it just touches my heart, and I've read it, and I got all kinds of stuff in here that I recommend highly. If you want to walk your talk and live your life with joy and ease and compassion and integrity and all the things that make up ordinary goodness in our lives. This is your manual, and this is the man. So let me read a little something for him that was the closing of his book. It's called Be Calm and Carry On. Once upon a time, students of an enlightened teacher were crossing a sea in a boat. The company was surprised by a fierce storm that churned the sea. All on board had to work to keep the boat afloat, despite the fierce waves and vicious wind. The unrelenting weather wore away their courage until at last they began to lose heart. And the storm on the outside caused fear to enter into their minds and spread dread. In their panic, they seemed to be forgetting the lessons their teacher had given them about the power and supremacy of inner peace. It's understandable, after all. Waves are crashing, the wind is howling, and things don't look like they reflect inner peace at all. Were they so wrong to assume that their paths would be made safe if they followed their teacher's lessons? In their panic, they approached their teacher and found him sleeping with his head on a makeshift cushion in the stern. Alarmed at his apparent disinterest in the imminent danger, they woke the sleeping teacher and asked, "Don't you even care that we are perishing?" When the teacher finally was aroused from his nap, he said to the students and to the waves, "Peace, be still." Immediately, the wind quieted down and the sea returned to its former state of calm. The lesson of this famous story is that there is a presence that is quietly, calmly at rest in the stern of the boat, meaning deep within your consciousness. It is beyond the reach of bad weather or unexpected changes in circumstances. It is your original goodness. I like the way Thomas à Kempis addresses it when he wrote, "Ah, Lord God, thou holy lover of my soul, when thou comest into my soul, all that is within me shall rejoice. Thou art my glory and the exultation of my heart. Thou art my hope and refuge in the day of trouble." Had I not had the example of my grandmother's love, I would find it difficult, makes me cry. I would find it difficult to believe that there is such an inner refuge to which I could return, no matter how the outer storm was raging. But I did have her example, and the example of so many good-hearted people who remind me that despite all of our progress in technology and communication, there is still nothing more powerful, to blink my tears away, more powerful than ordinary goodness to connect us, to guide our choices in deepening our faith in each other, and to declare the world a beautiful place to be. Reverend Edward.
I had to whisper in her ear, "Is it me now?" Hello, everyone. Good morning. And what a delight do you know who this is right over here? This is Mary Louise Ruffner. This is the true celebrity in the house today. Yeah, you should talk. She should be here. She is a sainted example of science of mind in action. And I've known her since I was a beginner, before I even was a practitioner. Yeah, so thank you for coming out, Reverend. And thank you so much, my friend. Your shoes, beautiful. Thank you for bringing me out. And thank you, CSL Georgia. I bring you greetings from Centers for Spiritual Living and from all of the communities of our organization. We're all doing the same thing together. based on what our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, told us, that there is a power for good in the universe and you can use it. And so many people have said it in different ways. Like, for example, there is a light at the center of your being, or there is a presence in the stern of the boat. And this, whatever it is, you didn't create it. You're not responsible for it. It is. It just is. You didn't create the light that is at the center of your being. It is there. It is permanent. It is persistent. Though it may be covered over and forgotten and disguised, it persists despite anything and everything that might happen. And spiritual living is about living in integrity with that inner light, letting it guide you, conferring with it, consulting with it, talking from it. So I want to tell you a story about that, a story that I tell wherever I go, as long as there are people who will listen. The story of Rama and Sita, the central characters of the Hindu scripture, the epic poem, the Ramayana. This is very well known among Hindus, very well known among Hindu children. It's used to teach them about how integrity is the foundation of society and how it all starts at home, right here, with how we treat each other. So the story highlights, among other things, how what is inside of us has something to do with how life happens around us, and how what we think and believe influences the way we treat each other, and how we treat each other creates the society that we are living in right now. So I'm thinking of some words now that are usually attributed to Mahatma Gandhi, but sometimes they are attributed to Lao Tzu. We don't really know where they came from. They go like this: watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character, because it becomes your destiny. So destiny in our science of mind, we think of as the inevitable and necessary outcome that is related to who I am inside, who you are inside. And so then this way, you and I, we're creating new destinies every time we think something new. We learn something new, choose something new. And then through our spiritual practices, we remain close to that light that is in us, that something, so that our actions can create from the consciousness within, the consciousness of love and respect. It can create pathways of cooperation and kindness and inclusion and integrity. This is how we create the world together. So let's look at the story of Rama and Sita, because it's a story about making choices, hard choices in life, in difficult circumstances, solving decisions that are absolutely impossible to resolve, and to make those decisions with integrity, by consulting what lives inside, and above all, taking into consideration the well-being of everyone above the convenience and comfort of the individual. Rama was the firstborn of a king, and so it was his destiny to become the next king. Everybody knew that. And Rama met his wife. I can't even tell you how he met his wife, because the story is so long and fantastic. Let us just say, I don't think he chose her. I think she chose him. And then Rama brought her home to meet the family. She was from a neighboring kingdom. And he brought her home right on the evening before the king, his father, was going to declare to the world that he was putting his firstborn son on the throne to take his place, and the whole kingdom was giddy with joy, and preparations were underway. The coronation was coming in the morning. Can you feel it? So we have to press the pause button here. And we've got to roll back the story many, many years. Okay, got to get some information because something's coming. Can you tell? Years ago, the king was out fighting a battle against the demons. Now, the demons represent the chaotic energies of the human condition, right? So he's fighting the demons, and all of a sudden, one of the demons knocks him off the chariot and is coming down with a sword to chop off his head. And just as it's coming down, a beautiful warrior princess intervenes and stops him from being killed. And he's lying on the floor, and he looks up at her, and she says, "May I help you up?" He falls in love, and he pledges right there to give her whatever she wants. He says, "I'll formalize it. I will promise you now to give you 2 wishes, whatever you desire." And she says, "Why, thank you. I'll let you know what it is I want when the time comes." And the years pass, and the king, who was already married, according to the culture and tradition of the time, he could have several wives, and he had 2 wives, including the warrior princess. So let's just get the lineage right. He had a first child, Rama, from his first wife, okay? Then he had 2 twin boys from his second wife, and then he had a 4th boy from the warrior princess. Now, I'm not using their names because they're so complicated to remember, but you got the picture. 4 boys. First one, Rama, from his first wife. Last one from his warrior princess wife. Okay, got that all right. All right. So let's go fast forward back to the moment before the coronation. You got there? The warrior princess comes to the king's chamber and says, "Hello, honey. Do you remember that promise you made way back then?" He says, "Yes, my love. What is it that you desire?" She said, "Well, I know what I want now." The king is high on life. He says, "Name it." Now, at this moment, you should hear somber music in the background of your head. Dun, 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 dun. Right? And she says, "Number 1, I want you to declare my son to be the heir of the throne instead of Rama." Right? Oh, and number 2, the second thing I want, just to make things nice and clean, I want you to banish Rama, banish him from the kingdom for, say, 14 years. Oh, I love your faces right now. You're all like 12 years old with me. It's so great. So the king is horrified for many reasons, because 1, that she would ask him such a thing. I mean, it's heartbreaking. She knew him, and she knew how much he loved Rama. And she, of all people that close to him, would know and understand that as a person of integrity, he could not go against his own word. And in that time, the king's word is law and cannot be retracted, like we learned in the book of Esther. Cannot be gone against. And if the king's word cannot be counted on, how would society maintain its integrity? So, the way it is as understood at the time, the way the leaders treated each other, the way they told the truth, the way they kept their word, the way they respected women, the way they corrected their mistakes, came from what they knew inside of them, and that was the foundation of society. So it was understood that what we do matters, and that what we do comes from who we are, and who we are comes from what we hold to be sacred in our hearts. So it matters that we know who we are and what lives inside of us. It matters that the truth be told, and it matters that our words and actions match what we say lives inside of us. You know, I'm thinking about that right now today, because in our world, some of our world leaders, it seems to me, some of the people in authority in our world, it seems to me that they have what I would call a flexible relationship with accuracy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the 5 police officers telling the story of their account with Mr. Nichols, who is dead, they have a flexible relationship with accuracy. Now, I'm thinking today about how difficult it seems for people who are in power to do the right thing. It's so difficult to honor women's autonomy, to stand unambiguously for people who are marginalized or brutalized, to care for the poor and the unsheltered, to protect the LGBTQ communities, and so on. It seems so difficult. Last year, I went to a Pride billiards event, pool, I think that's what they call it. So anyway, I put on my Facebook page, I'm going to the Pride billiards event. And someone on Facebook took me to task and said, why does it have to be a Pride event? Why can't it just be a, pool event? Why do you have to separate yourself out? And I was like, because LGBTQ people are still not safe in the United States. That's why. And lo and behold, as I'm walking into the pool hall with my boyfriend, we're holding hands, a mixed gender couple walk past and they yell out a nasty word to describe gay men. It rhymes with bag. I don't want to say it here. Bag. They called us bags. And so we stopped, we turned around and walked back to ask them what their intentions were. And they explained to us that from their faith tradition, that our existence disgusted them. And one of them spat out the words, "I'll pray for you tonight." Oh, imagine if people of faith knew exactly how to be in the world because of the sacred texts that they study and hold to be true, that they hold in their hearts. Imagine if people of faith in America today knew exactly how to love the world, stand for the oppressed, feed the hungry, protect the poor, and care for the stranger because of the teaching of love that their teacher, asleep at the stern of the boat, gave to them. Did you know that there are estimated to be over 100 million people of faith in our nation who are followers of the dark-skinned, Middle Eastern, poor Jesus, who said that the world would know his followers by the way that they treat each other? Well, I understand why not every Christian can stay close to the teaching of Jesus. They're hard teachings. They're very difficult. It's difficult to be forgiving and to be inclusive. It's difficult to be kind to people regardless of where they come from or what they look like or what language they speak. Hey, it's difficult for me to stay close to my own science of mind convictions and not fall down in the moment of heat. I get it. It's one thing to have a principle, and it's an entirely another thing to stay close to it and not fall down. Do you know what I mean? There's a story of a man, an old man, that as he grew older, he realized that his priorities were becoming more clear. And a young man watched him and said to him, "What do you focus on? What is your top priority now that you're at advanced age?" And the man thought about it, and he answered, both humorously and wise. He said, "My top priority that I focus on right now is this: don't fall down." You know what it means? Get focused on what is important and don't fall away. Don't abandon your integrity. Don't move away from the light that is within you. Stay close to it. Stay close to what lives in your heart, because nothing is worth losing your center of peace over, because you and I, we are going to have difficult times. We are going to have to make difficult choices. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to face disappointing betrayal and unpleasant situations. So we must stay focused on what lives within, and don't fall away from what lives in our heart. And if you do, because we will, come back as quickly as you can. There is a light at the center of your being that you did not create, that continues to shine every time you are awake. You know, that's why I set up that 6 a.m. morning meditation. Some of you sat a whole year with me so that I could come back and remember, because I forgot every morning. Back to the story, Rama and Sita. When Rama heard what had happened, what his stepmother had done, he could have railed against it. He would have been justified. He would have been perfectly in his rights. You know, he could have started a war. The people would have been with him. He could have gone to his stepmother and exchanged harsh words with her. "What do you think you're doing?" he could have said to her. "What kind of person are you?" But he didn't, because he realized that something larger than him was at stake. His father was facing an impossible dilemma. If he put Rama on the throne, he would be honoring the prince's birthright, but to do that, he would have to break the promise he made. Do you see why every Hindu child sits on the edge of their seat, even though they know the story? What will Rama do? And so Rama went to his wife, Sita, and I have to make up the conversation. He said something like this to her: "Honey, I must leave the kingdom tonight to preserve the honor of my father and the integrity of the nation. For if the people no longer have confidence in the king's word, there will be no hope for society. I'm sorry. I know we just got married and this is rather inconvenient, but I can't think of myself only." Do you know who else said that? Dr. Ernest Holmes. He said, "There can be no personal good without the common good." So there's no saying, "I'm all right, you take care of yourself." There's none of that. That's not science of mind. That's science of no mind. I don't mind what you're doing. No, there can be no personal good without the common good. So Sita, she hears this. Now she, in the story, everybody knows, she's the highest example of integrity. And she says to her husband these famous words. She says, As shadow to substance, so is wife to husband. Let me walk ahead of you into the forest to make your passage easier. I know, everybody goes, oh. Now, she didn't say that because she was weak. She didn't say that because she didn't have an identity outside of the relationship. Oh no, she could have whatever she wants. And she would have been perfectly in her rights to say, bye-bye, because the marriage would have been annulled for abandonment. She would have been her rights to lash out and talk about the loss of all her dreams and her visions and the betrayal and the unfairness and the injustice, but she didn't. She didn't, because she knew who she was. And she knew what lived inside of her, in her heart. And because she knew that what Rama was doing was right. Not easy, right. She understood how difficult it was for him, for her, for the nation. The nation was in grief. She knew there was no easy way out, and that the easy way out would lead to untold suffering for millions. Indignation, violence, anger is the easy way out. There's so much more courage required to tell the truth nonviolently. And because she knew she was, and because she held sacred in her heart the light that was within, the choice was clear for her. Not easy, clear. She knew what to do. Without hesitation, without remorse, without ambiguity, she would go into exile with her mate to create new destinies and new possibilities and new hope and new promise, because she understood this is not the end. Now, I wish I could tell you that the story of Rama and Sita has a happy ending. It doesn't. A happy ending wouldn't really, it was too light of a word to describe the lives of worth and meaning that unfolded for them, because that which started off with an unfair and unjust decision led them through the liberation and freedom of countless oppressed people, and deep, deep spiritual growth for them. Had they not gone into exile, countless people wouldn't have been transformed. They did return to the kingdom and to the throne, but on the way, over and over and over, they had to face, just like you and I do, difficult and impossible decisions that took their breath away, that they had to respond to and had to make choices about, always keeping the welfare of the people in mind, always remembering to defend the weaker, to do the right thing, to respond to the poor, even when that got them into trouble. And they did it over and over again by turning to what lives inside of them, the living Spirit Almighty. That's what Dr. Holmes calls it, the light, the Godhead, the consciousness of unity with all life. They did not fall down. Even when they were sorely tempted, they did not fall down from what they held sacred in their hearts. They are my heroes, because I fall down. You know, my heart aches to think that LGBTQI plus people and transgender people still have to face persecution in my own county, in California. My heart breaks to think that women are still treated unequally across the world. my heart breaks to think that Black, Indigenous, and people of color continue to have to explain that racism is a real thing. But my heart soars when I think about there are people today in which Rama and Sita live and guide. My heart soars with gratitude for that evangelical Christian, John Pavlovitz, who was on the cover of the Science Mind magazine, a loud vocal ally. And my heart soars for you, the people of CSL West Georgia, who I'm guessing are unambiguously committed to the light within. And from that light, support women's equality. And from that light, unambiguously support the lives of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And from that light, unambiguously embrace the LGBTQI and transgender community. And who work diligently every day to not fall down, and then to get up again when they do, for the work that remains to be done. So my wish for you is to let the integrity and love of Rama and Sita guide you to right choices, good decisions, and bravery and courage, and to a communal good, so that your life will be a shining beacon for generations of people to come. So I invite you to take a breath in with me like this, and to exhale, letting your eyes close. Let us know together that there is a powerful good in the universe that dwells within. And from it, let each one of us individually know that from that light I can embrace that I am never alone, and that I have companions and friends that similarly are guided by a light, and that together we are building a world that works just a little bit better for everyone, breaks down barriers, softens hearts. And from that light to discover again the power of our natural kindness, our God-given empathy, and our ability to create. And I know too that as I turn to the image of Rama and Sita within, my heart opens to embrace the community of all beings, and causes me and us together to take our place among the community of beings as a beacon of light and understanding. And having spoken this word according to our faith tradition, I accept this as already so. And so I confirm that by saying, and so it is. Thank you very much for having me with you today.
Wow. What we're going to do now is have a special performance. I do want to announce someone that's in the audience too, because I wouldn't be standing here before you without this presence. His name is Barry Brown. I need you to stand up, Barry. If you would give Barry a hand. And I'll tell you why you're giving Barry a hand. I went through practitioners training the same time I was going through a divorce. And I could have been the story, but I didn't take the anger out because of the practitionership. And Barry was in that class and he knew he wanted to be a practitioner. And he actually gave me a call because we exchanged numbers because we had to pray. And I can't say what he said to me in this audience, but it was clear, either you're gonna or get off the pot. So and I didn't get off the pot. And I am still here because of this speaker, because I fell down and I didn't want to get back up. And Mexico got me back up, and we have him here because I got back up. And this person introduced me to him. So Ellen is in Puerto Vallarta in the Sands right now, but this is where I met him. We were at the conference that day. And the music that you're about to hear is as special to me as the story I just told. Tom Woods is the composer, writer of the theme song that's on my website. So anybody, when you go out there for the next 45 days to honor, or how many days is it for Season of Nonviolence? 64 days. For the next 64 days that you go out there, you'll be hearing Tom when you listen to Mother Teresa. And he is a wonderful composer. He has all kinds of music and all kinds of gatherings. And I met Rita Graham, who's going to be singing with him this morning. That way, I was a follower of him from the High Museum. And then when I followed him, I found her, another diamond in the sand. And she is actually a former Raylette. So she performed with Ray Charles. And if you would applaud Tom Woods and Rita Graham to the audience.
If I'd fallen.
I'd like to say before we start, I've worked with Tom off and on for many years, but I was a member of Founders Church of Religious Science, Dr. Holmes Church in Los Angeles at 6th and Berindo from the 70s. I was 2 years old then. And I was, when I moved here, one of the things that I missed most of all was Founders Church of Religious Science. And Dr. Hornaday was marvelous there. And I'd also like to say that I had a vision one time. I went to the light. I was in the light. And I didn't see a being. It was just all encompassing, this amazing love, this intense, every fiber of my being was filled with this love. And I thought, I have one daughter. I had one daughter then. I raised a whole bunch of kids since then. But I always had a running prayer about my daughter in the back of my mind. And when I was in that light, everything, I knew everything was all right. And I just knew it. I had a band here for 10 years at a restaurant in Buckhead called Sambuca Jazz Cafe. And my bass player for the first 4 years, Gary Land, who was a big guy, and he was like 6'2.5" and 380 pounds or something. And he called me and said, I haven't been well. And he said, I weigh 160 pounds. I said, oh, no, you didn't. I weigh 160 pounds. Wait a minute. Ooh. He said, I've been in the light. He said, the light you told me about, I've seen it. He said, I've seen it. He said, did you notice something about that light? What was so special about that light? And I said, no, except it was just everything. There was nothing else but that. And it was so loving, so full. He said, as bright as that light was, it didn't blind you. Whoa. And then I learned that they're inside of these trillions of cells and make up the human body. Inside of every cell, the nucleus of that cell, is this teeny tiny little light. So life is so much more amazing than we know. We can only guess because we don't see but what we think we see. But there's much more. Trust, believe, as he does. Anyway, we're going to do this right now, one of my favorite songs. I haven't had the opportunity to sing it in a long time, so forgive me if I stumble. We fall down, but we get up. Somewhere all over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Thank you so much. I haven't had a chance to sing that song, and I'm not going to tell you how many decades. Yeah. You're so nice. How about Tom Woods? My friend. We're on schedule at, I don't have any dates yet. We're on schedule at the Atlanta Botanical Garden this year. We did a couple of dates there last year, so we're gonna do it again this year. We're gonna let everybody know to come out and look at the flowers and hear us while you look at the flowers. Anyway, we're gonna do this. Everybody says, "Well, you were Ray Charles. You need to sing this song." I'm gonna sing this before I get down, because I had the honor of playing the role of a Coretta Scott King in a docu-musical called Selma. We did it in Los Angeles, started in a church basement. Then we went to the big theater produced by Red Fox Productions. And he brought us here for the SCLC conference to do excerpts from Selma. And the year was 1974. And that's when I really realized what my mother and dad had been trying to tell me about the movement, and that who Coretta really was, because up until that point I was just doing what they told me. Here, you put that on, you say that. I was like, okay. But it changed my life coming here to Atlanta. One of those civil rights ministers said, he said, nah, you finally realize what we've been doing down here. And I said, yes, I do. And as soon as I go back to LA and get my clothes, I'll be back. They said, my friend said, you just want to be there and be close to Martin. And I said, probably I do. I want to stand on that holy ground. Anyway. Is it really? I couldn't help myself. Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, a song of you comes through sweet and clear, like moonlight through the pines. Whoa, other arms reach out for me, other eyes smile tenderly, still in peaceful dreams I see that the road leads back. Oh, it leads back to you. Georgia, Georgia. No, 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 no. Peace I find. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Woo, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my, keeps Georgia on my mind. Thank you.
Good gracious. That was fabulous. How many of us are going to snatch them? Of being a member of our family. That was just absolutely gorgeous. And we are thrilled. And again, Angela. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They would not be here without you. And you and I are going to cry together now. It was just wonderful, y'all. Thank you. I don't know if I can go on with the business of the day. Thanks again. And we certainly want to know what and where you all will be, that we might be able to come and join you.
Absolutely.
Okay? So please give us, some information. Okay, Tom? Okay. Oh, we'll be there. Yes, Rita? wonderful. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, my goodness, it makes me emotional again. Thank you so, so much. Well, on with the ordinary now. Now we would like to have you help us read together. This is our time for conscious giving. It's on the screen. Thank you, Marcia. You may stand if you like. Be comfortable where you are. Let us read together the conscious giving affirmation. Freely and joyfully, I give with the feeling of abundance, knowing that my gift blesses others as well as myself.
I am so blessed. Sing with me. I'm so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed. We're usually,
Ronnie's
sometimes
busy.
we're a one verse. Everyone can sing with me one more time, okay? I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed. And we're certainly blessed today.
We certainly are. Thank you all so much. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. Announcements. Next week, Merle is going to be speaking with us. Merle Means, he called me this morning. He was not feeling well. He would have been with us today. And you all that were here for the Burning Bowl ceremony and have heard Merle speak before, you all know that he's a wonderful speaker and we enjoy having him. We have Reverend, well, she's not a reverend yet, but Dorothea Gaze will be speaking later on this month.
Sister. She's a sister.
Sister. She is a
Sister
sister.
Dorothea.
And the woman can cook. As well as bless us all just with her presence. As I always say, Dorothea walks in the door and in comes love and light.
And food.
And food. Next, on the 12th, we have a guest speaker coming, one of the practitioners that, in fact, he was here yesterday from SCLA is going to be here. His name is Dale, and just delightful. He and I have spoken on the phone, and the first time I spoke to him, I felt like I had a BFF, just that way. So be here for that. And then Cynthia has an announcement about John Stringer.
Yes, John Stringer will be with us February 26th. He's going to be giving the music and the message. Yes.
So you all know who John Stringer is, right? So thanks to Cynthia
And Connie.
and Connie. So we are excited to have him with us. And as we go, as we plan out March, we will let you know who all is going to be here. We do know that we're going to have a town hall in March, so we'll announce that when we have our date firmed up. And Ronnie, would you like to come up and mention? Yeah. Oh, did you get it up? Oh, good. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I need eyes in the back of my head, don't I? Or paying more attention would help. This is going to be a fabulous workshop, y'all. I can look at my dates.
February 5th.
Yes, and it's going to be after church. So when you come, be prepared to have a wonderful afternoon. Ursula has done this for a very, very long time and does a fabulous job. Dorothea, would you like to mention? Oh, there she is. Oh, come up here. I didn't know you were here. Come up. Come up. You have no, come up here. Come up here. Come up here in the spotlight. We love Ursula. I didn't realize you were here. Thank you. That's next Sunday. So she's going to tell you all about it. And everybody, do not miss it. And don't miss her, because she's worth it.
Good morning, everyone. Blessed to be here for the speaker and the beautifulness and the history. I think I just feel like I've been bathed in history just by listening to the stories this morning. So I'm blessed. But next week we're having a vision board workshop. A lot of people know vision boards. They do them. You look through the magazines, you find pictures that represent. But it's not only a vision board party, but it's a workshop. So we're just going to dig deep to look at what it is that we really want to achieve this next year and what's holding you back. Because some of us may have had the same vision from the year before and the year before, and we have not manifested it. So it's not just the party and cutting out pictures, but we're going to get deep into understand what are those roadblocks that's stopping us from manifesting our dreams. So it's next week, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Sign up now. There'll be standing room only, right? I just heard from Cynthia that do you want to go ahead and say
Well,
it?
John Stringer said he would be talking about Black History Month when he's here on the 26th.
Okay, so which will be fabulous. Can't wait. Can't wait to hear his music and his message, and just again his presence and his lovely wife. Have y'all met her? Kathy. She's just lovely. I mean, the two of them just again walk into the room, and it's like grace walks into the room, with the two of them. Is how I feel. I would like to make a big thank you. And I would like all of you, please stand. Please stand. Reverend Dr. Edward Viljoen is welcome here at any time. It has been an absolutely fabulous weekend. It started Friday night with dinner, and I had the great good fortune to sit next to him and have a visit. And when I haven't been with him, I've been listening to him. I've listened to all kinds of his podcasts and all kinds of things that have been absolutely wonderful. So we are just thrilled beyond measure to have had him here. So let's give him another round of applause. Thank you. And Angela. Yes, you have to get thanked again. What can I? Reverend Angela Harmon. Without Reverend Angela, this weekend would not have happened. That is just the facts, guys. So thank you. We cannot say thank you enough to you for being so caring and loving about our center and giving us this opportunity and creating this experience for us. We just cannot thank you enough, Angela.
And our wonderful musicians today. Thank you very much.
And fabulous musicians. Oh my goodness. Absolutely wonderful. What a day. Beautiful, uplifting music. Beautiful message. Just been a fabulous day all around. And I have one more thank you. And the thank you goes to, and I want them to stand, Deborah, Kathy, Dorothea, Ronnie. These core people and Marcia have made this whole weekend absolutely perfect in so many ways. These girls cooked, Ronnie and Kathy cleaned, and Dorothea and Deborah just cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked and brought all kinds of fabulous food yesterday. So give them a major standing ovation, y'all. Just absolutely wonderful. And of course, we love, love, love them all. And our beautiful little new pins. Thank you, Marcia. Again, marvelous Marcia has come through and done something wonderful for us. All right, y'all. I think I'm done with it now. Oh, wait. Ronnie, I forgot. Ronnie has to tell you about our little cards that also marvelous Marcia has made.
Yes, she has. Okay. We have a software that allows our community to give online, and probably 80% of our people give online. So when we're here together and we pass the collection plate, what has been happening is those who give here, who are not giving online, their gift is in the plate, and everybody else isn't. We're like, no, that can't be right. So Marcia created these wonderful little cards, online donations. And they will be every week out in the foyer there in a little dish. And if you give online, you pick one of these up. And then when the plate comes around, this is for you to put in the plate so that when we bless the plate, your contributions are acknowledged as well. So thanks to Marcia.
Yes. Okay. I know.
You go, girl. Come on.
Reverend Viljoen,
and you're stepping down off of one and you're moving on to another. And I wanted to read really quickly something for you from Ernest Holmes. Divine abundance is forever manifesting in Reverend Viljoen's affairs. Today I expect every good thing to come to me, for I know that divine abundance is forever manifesting in Reverend Viljoen's affairs. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectations open to new experiences, to happier events, to more complete self-expression. Everything that belongs to the Spirit, I accept. Everything that partakes in nature and reality, I claim as my own. Identity with success and prosper, everything that I do and everything that Reverend Viljoen does. As I give thanks for the good now flowing in my life and Reverend Viljoen's life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. I experience a deeper consciousness of peace, security, for I know that I am embraced in a warm, loving presence, forever seeking outlets through me. From Ernest Holmes, reader, practical wisdom, and prosperity for all. Reverend Viljoen is going to be prosperous in his journey, and so it is. Thank you.
And so it is. I knew you were up to something.
Didn't I tell you, love and light walks? That was fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Divine Dorothea.
Yeah.
Yes, let's all, whoops. All right, y'all. I'd like to read our closing affirmation. It's up on the screen. And then if you'd all join us as we close with the peace song, the community song together. Reverend Edward will be leaving for the airport quickly. And so we know that we love him and wish him well and have a safe journey.
All right.
The affirmation, we go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us and only good comes to us. And so it is.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God as creator. United are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. So it is. Get you some money, honey.